Picture for a moment the sweeping forests, rugged mountains, and open grasslands of Europe as they once were, untamed and alive with the movement of giant creatures. For centuries, the thought of such wild spaces would conjure images of wolves slinking through shadows and bears lumbering among trees. But what if another, even more ancient titan is reclaiming its dominion over these landscapes? Imagine an animal so formidable and influential that its very presence can transform the land. Now, against all odds, this creature is not only surviving but thriving, reshaping the future of European wilderness. Are the true kings of Europe's wild spaces not the predators we've long admired, but a giant herbivore, the European bison? Let's start with the dramatic story of loss and rescue. The European bison, or Bison bonasus, once roamed across the continent in vast herds, shaping the land with their grazing and sheer size. But the pressures of hunting, habitat loss, and human expansion drove them to the very brink of extinction. By the early 20th century, their numbers had dwindled to the point of near disappearance. In 1927, only 60 individuals survived, all within the confines of zoos and private parks. The wild bison were gone, their hoofbeats silenced, and their role in European ecosystems erased. But from this desperate situation, a remarkable story of hope emerged. Conservationists, scientists, and passionate volunteers refused to let the bison's legacy fade into oblivion. Systematic breeding programs sprang up across Europe, meticulously pairing the few remaining individuals to maximize genetic diversity. Captive populations grew, and over decades, plans were hatched to release bison back into the wild. In recent years, these efforts have accelerated, with new rewilding sites established across countries like Poland, Romania, Germany, and the Netherlands. Today, the results of this decades-long commitment are nothing short of astonishing. By 2020, the free-ranging population of European bison had surged to nearly 7,000 individuals, a dramatic recovery from those dark days of the 1920s, and the expansion continues. In 2024, the Tarcu Mountains of Romania welcomed 14 new bison from Sweden and Germany, boosting the local population to over 200. These animals now roam freely, a living testament to the power of conservation and international cooperation. But the return of the bison is about more than numbers. These creatures are ecosystem engineers, wielding a profound influence over the landscapes they inhabit. Unlike predators, whose impact is often invisible, bison physically transform their environment with every step. Their grazing and trampling create open clearings, shape plant communities, and help maintain mosaics of forest, scrub, and grassland. As they feed, they promote the growth of grasses and wildflowers, keep shrubs at bay, and churn the soil with their hooves. Scientific research is now revealing the true magnitude of the bison's ecological role. A 2024 study published in Forest Ecology and Management found that bison grazing significantly increased the richness of vascular plants in forest habitats, particularly benefiting graminoids and bryophytes, groups of grasses and mosses that thrive in disturbed soils. Their presence also generates microhabitats that support a dizzying array of insects, birds, and small mammals. In essence, the bison's activities create a patchwork of life, supporting biodiversity far beyond what any single species could accomplish alone. Rewilding projects across Europe are harnessing this power. In the Tarcu Mountains of Romania, bison have been reintroduced in carefully chosen sites, and their impact is already visible. Grasslands once dominated by a few species are now vibrant, diverse meadows. Forests, once choked with undergrowth, open up beneath the influence of bison, letting sunlight reach the ground and new plants flourish. Conservationists have seen firsthand how bison can revive landscapes, making them richer and more resilient. But does this mean the European bison are truly Europe's Savanna kings? The phrase conjures images of North America's iconic buffalo ruling vast prairies, or African elephants shaping the savanna. In Europe, the reality is more nuanced. While bison are the continent's largest surviving land mammals and their ecological role is immense, the environments they inhabit are diverse, ranging from dense forests to open meadows rather than true savannas. Their reign is not about dominance, but about interconnectedness. They are architects of diversity, supporting ecosystems that depend on disturbance and change. Comparing European bison to their North American relatives, the ecological parallels are striking. Both species are keystone herbivores, creating space for other life through grazing and movement. Yet, the European bison has had to adapt to a more fragmented, human-dominated landscape. Their comeback is not only about survival, but about adaptation, finding ways to thrive in pockets of wilderness surrounded by farmland, roads, and settlements. Challenges remain. Habitat fragmentation is one of the biggest obstacles to the bison's full return. Agricultural expansion, infrastructure development, and human settlements have carved up the landscape, limiting the bison's ability to roam and recolonize suitable habitats. A 2023 study highlighted that while large swaths of land could support bison, high human pressure and landscape fragmentation restrict their movements and ecological impact. Conservationists emphasize the need for large, well-connected landscapes, corridors and protected areas that allow bison to move freely and maximize their role as ecosystem engineers. Conflicts with human interests also arise. Bison sometimes stray into farmland, causing concern among local communities. Balancing the needs of wildlife with those of people requires careful management, dialogue, and support. Crucially, the success of bison rewilding depends on sustained funding, robust policies, and public engagement. Without these, the progress made so far could unravel. Yet the return of the bison is more than an ecological milestone. It is a symbol of hope. Their resurgence demonstrates that nature can recover, given time, effort, and the will to act. Bison rewilding also offers a powerful tool in the fight against climate change. Research from Yale University indicates that reintroducing bison herds in Romania's Tarcu Mountains could enhance carbon sequestration, potentially capturing an additional 59,525 tons of carbon annually. As they graze, bison stimulate plant growth and help lock away carbon in soils, providing unexpected climate benefits alongside ecological ones. So what does the bison's comeback mean for Europe? It's a reminder that even the most dramatic losses can be reversed, that wildness can return to our landscapes, and that nature's engineers can help us build a more resilient future. The bison is not just a king. It is a beacon, lighting the way for rewilding, biodiversity, and climate action. Supporting these initiatives is not only about protecting a species, but about restoring a legacy and securing a future where Europe's wild places can thrive once again. Now, as you imagine those vast, wild European landscapes, picture the bison, majestic, powerful, and essential. Their story is Europe's story, one of loss, hope, and renewal. The challenge is clear, and the opportunity immense. Will we embrace the return of the giants and help shape a wilder, greener continent for generations to come?